Welcome back to Becoming Dr. Kaluba. It is your girl Faith, and I'm back with another video for you guys. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you particularly enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and hit the notification bell so you know whenever I post a video. Now, I do intend to post my next video in about a week's time, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But before we get into this video on how to decide on a college major, I wish to inform you guys of a summer internship opportunity at the Andel Institute. This is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it is a research internship opportunity. Now, I will tell you guys, it is great exposure to participate in an internship program because it affords you the opportunity to grow your research skill set. And the Andel Institute particularly deals in a number of research projects involving cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, etc. And so I will tell you that it is a great opportunity to learn so much. Now, the deadline for applications for this research internship opportunity is February 1st. I do apologize for informing you guys of this late, but I only got to learn of it just recently. So I would definitely advise you, if you are an undergraduate with a minimum GPA of 3.0, to definitely apply. Build your research experience. It will probably help you, especially if you're wanting to get into the field of research after school. So yeah, guys, you never know where life takes you, so definitely seize the opportunity to build your skill set. I will put the application link in my description, so definitely check that out. So yeah, let's get into this video, guys. So how to decide on a college major. Now, I wanted to give you guys a bit of background to my education. So I completed my high school education at Mary Queen of Peace Girls School in Lusaka, Zambia in 2015. I then went to pursue my Edexo A-levels at the University of Zambia in 2016, where I took the classes math, physics, chemistry, and biology. Now, that 1 year, 6 months really helped me understand a bit more on what my strengths were, my weaknesses, my interests, and just what areas I thrive in general. Now, I did discuss briefly in my previous video as to how I got to apply to the US, how I figured out that I really just wanted to study abroad. If you haven't already watched that video, I will put the link up for you, and if you want to check it out, please feel free to do so. But yeah, so I started to apply to Andrews University. I did my application on their website, and I realized then that the systems in the US versus that in the of the British system, which is what we also use in Zambia, were different. At the time, I had no idea what a major was because it's not common to hear the term major used for a degree pursuit or a career pursuit back home. People just say, oh yeah, I'm studying so-and-so, I'm studying so-and-so. But we don't really refer to things as majors. So that was very odd for me to hear, especially pursuing a professional career. And by professional career, I'm specifically referring to medicine, dentistry, law, and pharmacy. So these are professional careers because they require a pre-professional degree prior to you being admitted into those schools. And so you are required a minimum of a bachelor's degree before you are admitted into a professional program. So yeah, I had no idea that was how the system even worked to start with. And what I got to gather as I did further research was that I could pursue any degree option that I wanted, provided that I had fulfilled the prerequisites for my professional program. So I could pretty much study anything. And so I had so many options that I didn't even know what I was going to decide on. I felt like a kid in a candy store. So I really didn't know in the beginning what to do. And so I started to venture into what students who then go on to pursue medicine usually pursue for their pre-professional programs. Most of what I found was biomedical engineering, especially when I was also looking at other schools in the United States. The most common program that I found was biomedical engineering. Now, I took physics during my A-levels. I appreciate general physics, and I did well in it in my undergrad as one of the classes I had to take. But prior to that, I just did not see myself doing engineering. A-levels definitely shed light on that. I did not see myself as an engineer. I give a lot of respect to engineers because I just could not do what they do, or I have no interest in it. And so the idea of also doing biomedical engineering, even though I enjoy biology, just did not sit well with me. I just didn't think this was something I could do for 4 years. And so I realized, especially during A-levels, this was something that was affirmed, that I just really enjoyed biology. And I found that at Andrews University, as well as other colleges in the United States, as I came to learn, I could pursue a biology degree. And so, yeah, I immediately went for that option because that was what I knew I would have the most interest in. Now, I came to gather a lot of things as I went on in my undergraduate degree program. A lot of things that I think would help help other students looking to pursue their undergrad or go into the medical path or journey. I gathered some things that I think would also help you, in addition to just the brief experience that I had when I was deciding, that I thought of sharing with you right now. So yeah, get out your notebook and take some notes, because this is useful information that I didn't even hear many people talk about during my time, as to say like, oh yeah, this is something I'd advise someone to do. So definitely get your notebook out. Jot down some notes, because this may just help you decide what you want to study. So like I had mentioned before, I picked biology because I had realized, looking back at my A-levels experience as well as my high school experience, I just enjoyed biology. And it was also the course that I thrived in the most. So yeah, I knew that it gave me a great balance of the fact that I was interested in it and I just did well in it. But also, I like to consider something that challenges me. So if you're a person who likes a challenge because it helps you grow, you definitely want to think about that. And biology was that for me. Biology is not a breeze. So it gave me a good balance of the fact that I was interested in it, but it also challenged me. But like I said, if you, like me, like to be challenged, you also want to think about where your strengths lie. So you don't want to choose to be in a program just because it challenges you. You don't want the challenge to be greater than your ability to do well in it. So you want to think about things like that. You want to have that kind of a balance, because it will definitely assist you and guide how smoothly you do during the 4 years, because that's very important. Your grades do matter when it comes to your medical school application. Your grade point average matters. Your MCAT score matters. So the MCAT being the medical college admissions test, it is a standardized test you are required to take for admission into medical school. And so, yeah, your GPA matters, your MCAT score matters. And so you want to make sure that you're deciding on a degree program that you will do well in, such that your GPA, your final GPA, would be great. So yeah, that's very important to think about. One of the things that influenced my decision as well was how much of a foundation the particular program that I was undertaking was going to give me for medical school. So biology, for example, gave me a great foundation in that a lot of the courses that I got to take during my undergrad, really allowed me to be accustomed to that medical or STEM or science feel. It made me accustomed to just being around science, and it gave me, I think, a good foundation for medical school. I know a lot of students who go into medical school do take biology as their bachelor's degree or pre-med program. So yeah, it does give you a good foundation, but do not be quick to dismiss other programs. I know a number of colleges as well look for students who have done things unrelated to STEM, because it brings a different perspective, it brings a different freshness. So even as I talk about biology, I only say so because it is what I studied, but do not feel restricted to that as I go along, as you will see in the next few points I'm going to make. So money matters. It's definitely something that all of us think about. And you're probably wondering, well, college is expensive in general, but you also may want to save on how much you're going to spend for your undergrad degree. And I will tell you, STEM programs are generally more expensive than non-STEM programs, largely because a lot of them require labs, which come with extra fees. So if you're able to balance the cost, great. But it's also something you may just want to consider, or it may be important to you to think about, the financial cost. I will put up a link for you guys to a video, or a few videos that discuss like different options to cover your financial costs for college. It's definitely something I was thinking about, so I'm pretty sure you're probably thinking about the financial costs and how to go about that. So I will definitely put some videos or a video for you guys to check out, and I'll put some more information regarding scholarships or financing info in my description, so you guys can access that at any time that you would like, and learn more about how to take care of your finances or sponsor your college education. Now, this is one that I really want to speak about, because this is something I didn't really hear many people talk about, and it's something that I got to learn as I went on through my degree program. Now, the truth of the matter is, some degree programs that you will pursue, or you may pursue, will offer you more employment opportunities post-undergrad. Now, why is this important? Now, let's backtrack a bit. For the most part of my life, I've been the kind of person who likes to give myself a timeline. I like to plan years ahead. And so even when it came to my career pursuits, I had always looked at it as, I finished high school, I will get into, my medical school journey, I'll start my first year and go on from there. And, till I graduate from medical school, become a doctor, things worked in a linear way, such that even when I switched to an American system, I still looked at it like that. Like I would start my pre-med, finish my 4 years, after that go straight into medical school. It worked out in a linear way in my mind and according to my planning. But sometimes life doesn't work out that way. Believe me, I was very anti-gap year. So yeah, for your information, a number of people do take gap years between pre-med or their pre-professional program and going into medical school. And so it could be a year, 2 years, yeah, it's really up to you. But yeah, that's another option that people take. And I was so anti-gap year because I just wanted to be done with my pre-med, get into medical school right after. But yeah, like I said, life sometimes does not work that way. If you're wanting to get into medical school right after your undergrad, you would likely have to take your MCAT during the summer of your junior year. So right after you're done a junior year, take your MCAT in the summer, and that will allow you to at least enroll in a medical school, provided you are accepted to a medical school right after your undergrad or in the year of your completion of undergrad. But yeah, if not, or if you plan to take a gap year, you could take your MCAT in the year of your completion of your undergraduate degree. Now, I was all for taking my MCAT in the summer of my junior year. That was my plan. But things didn't work out that way. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I could not take my MCAT in the summer of my junior year. And, prior to that spring semester, I reached a point of just accepting where I was, because I was also burnt out. I was extremely burnt out. A lot of things were just happening in my life, in my family at the time. And, certain things just didn't allow me to take my MCAT at the time I had planned. But also I was personally just really burnt out. And so I had just come to a point of just accepting that I would not be taking my MCAT that summer. I would not be getting into medical school right after undergrad. And it brought so much relief to me, honestly. It gave me a lot of relief because I didn't realize just how stressed I was about all that and more. But yeah, so sometimes things don't work the way you want them to work. So you definitely may be wanting to think about what degree programs could also help you in the event that you do not get into medical school right away. Because also another thing students think about is the fact that medical school comes with a really large cost. At the end of the 4 years of medical school, some people are in $100,000 debt. So because of just how expensive medical school is, so some people choose to take gap years in order to save money for medical school. So that's something that, you also may want to think about. It happens. So you want to also bear in mind as you are thinking about which major to pursue, what employment opportunities it could offer you in the event that you do not go straight into medical school. Now, biology, for example, there are few employment opportunities post-biology, and it just really depends on what your personal interests are or your capabilities. So one of the employment opportunities that are available for biology graduates is that of teaching. Now, teaching requires a separate skill set on its own, but I did find quite a number of teaching opportunities for biology. I was offered a teaching position as well when I was just about to graduate, even though I had no education experience other than tutoring and being a teaching assistant during my undergrad. So that's another option that you could take if you love to teach. You could take a teaching route. You could choose to work as a teacher. That's another great option. I know for the offer that I had got, it had a lot of great benefits. So yeah, and the pay was really good. So that's something that you could opt for as well. Another employment opportunity that's there for biology graduates is that in research. So you could work as a research assistant, a research technician, a technical associate. They're pretty much the same thing. Different institutions and companies refer to them as different things. But yeah, you could work in research, which is pretty much the main employment opportunity that's available to biology graduates. Now, the thing is, to be able to work in research, in most cases, you would have had to have research experience during your undergrad. At least if you're trying to diversify or amplify the number of choices that you have, you want to make sure you've you have some research experience from your undergraduate. So that's something you would want to think about as well. I did my undergraduate research between 2020 and 2021. I did it for a year, and I worked in a proteomics lab. My research was in molecular biology, and so it definitely gave me a good amount of experience in research, and now I currently work as a research technician. And so yeah, it gave me a really good basis for my current role. Yeah, and so I just also really enjoyed it. I remember though when I got to Andrews University, so many people were talking about research, and at the time I had no idea what they were talking about. Like, I didn't even understand why people were talking about research so soon. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. We hadn't even started classes. Like, is this something people were aware of in high school that, you know, of course I didn't even hear much about, because it's just not something that we talk about where I'm from. So I was very overwhelmed. I was very overwhelmed by the discussions that were going on. But over time, I got to understand, you know, more about research. And the truth of the matter is, there were a lot of people from this country that also didn't really know what was going on. So that gave me comfort. But yeah, as time went on, I got to know and understand a bit more about research and what the benefits of engaging in research are. I got to also learn what different research areas the professors in my department were doing, as well as professors in other departments as well. So yeah, at the time I was mostly thinking, oh, it will look good on my medical school application. And yeah, I just really wanted to apply what I had learned theoretically, practically. I really was interested in that. But it also came to be something that benefited me when I was looking for a job. So yeah, research. So that's something you could work as a research assistant, technician, or technical associate. Yeah, which also looks good on your medical school application. So yeah. A third employment opportunity for biology graduates is that of a medical scribe. So medical scribes essentially work in the hospital, and this is a great opportunity because you have a lot of exposure to medical personnel and just the hospital environment, which I greatly appreciate because it allows you to really gauge whether or not you really want to go into medical school. So it's a great opportunity. I know one of my friends worked as a medical scribe during her gap year, and so yeah, it would be a great opportunity as well. It's one of the things that are offered. I will say though, it doesn't pay as highly as, say, a research assistant job would. So depending on the state that you are in, the kind of pay you get varies. I would say on average that of a research assistant pay per hour is about $15 to $19 per hour, whereas that of a medical scribe is quite low. It's lower than that, I would say. So that may also be something you may be considering. At least it was something I was considering even as I was looking for jobs, because yeah, the cost of living is generally high. But yeah, so yeah, you could work as a medical scribe. It also looks very good on your medical school application. I'm trying to think of any other jobs. Yeah, you could also work as a lab technician. So that's fairly different from what I had discussed regarding research. So lab technicians essentially work in the manufacturing industry. I had worked as a lab technician prior to working as a research technician. I worked for a biomedical or biotech company, specifically in the Department of Plasmid Preparation. So that was on the manufacturing end of things. So that's another role that you could take. It also looks good on your medical school application. Personally, I enjoy working as a research technician more because it's what I'm most familiar with. Also, I just like being able to do things that are different, things that require a lot of my thought, a lot of my planning. So I enjoy working as a research technician more than I do working as a lab technician. But yeah, the pay is also really good depending on where you're at. Yeah, if I may say so, my lab technician role paid even higher than my research technician role does. So yeah, it pays pretty good as well. So that may be something you wanna consider as you're thinking about what employment opportunities are there for you. Yeah, other opportunities, I think, for a biology graduate may require you having extra certifications that you could attain during your summers. So, for example, I would give a medical assistant position. Medical assistant positions, I feel, are actually becoming more common in hospitals, more common than medical scribe positions, honestly. They require you to have more experience beyond, say, at least if you have a biology degree. A medical assistant sort of does a lot of things differently, but you could become a medical assistant without a biology degree, if that sort of makes sense. There are just certain things medical assistants are trained to do that you're not necessarily trained to do as a biology student, so you can't just automatically switch to working as a medical assistant. But you can pursue certifications that will allow you to work as a medical assistant, especially in the summer. So yeah, that's another option. And I'm sure there are a few others, but those are the ones that I'm aware of. Those are the ones that I especially found during the time when I was looking for a job. But when it comes to what other degree programs have to offer you, so say for example, if I studied business administration for my undergrad, I would have had to do certain internships as well, which would have probably given me opportunities, a plethora of opportunities to work in business administration. I have a lot of jobs. There are more jobs, at least in that area. If I did more tech-related, a tech-related program like computer science or informatics, it would have definitely widened the scope of opportunities that I have, because biotech also is big now. But another degree program that I will tell you about is medical laboratory sciences. So I actually have a friend who studied medical laboratory sciences. It was something I only got to know of when I studied my undergrad program. It was very foreign to me. Now, this one is not because it's not there in Zambia. I was just ignorant of it at the time. But yeah, that is a profession on its own. By the time you are done with your undergrad, you could take certain exams that will allow you to be a certified medical laboratory technician, and jobs like that are in demand at hospitals. So they require a specific skill set. It's a whole career path on its own. So that's also another one that I would encourage you to look into as a pre-med program. Yeah, it's very, very intense as well. It's challenging. But yeah, it also exposes you and lays a great foundation, if I may say so, even more than biology. I'd say medical laboratory sciences really gives you a great hands-on experience generally. It feels more like a medical pre-med program than biology, because biology is broader. Biology, you'd have to do plant biology, you'd have to do ecology, all these different things that you may never have to do in medical school. Whereas medical laboratory sciences, you get to deal with actual samples. You get to learn how to, say for example, do injections or draw blood and things like that. So it's a pretty cool program. But yeah, in general, I would be thinking about employment opportunities if I were you as well. Something that I was not aware of, but I thought to share with you because you just never know what happens in life, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So yeah, guys, this has been how to decide on a college major. I really hope that what I had to share with you today gave you a little more enlightenment as to how you're going to decide on a college major. But I do want to tell you, if it so happens that you decide on a college major, start the program, and you learn that this is not for you, and you take interest in another program, you have the option in the United States to change your program, to change your major. I think most advisors would tell you that at least up until your sophomore year, you can easily switch, especially if you're taking a lot of your general education requirements in your freshman year. It's a little easier to switch majors because a lot of those gen ed requirements are transferable between majors. But yeah, so you do have that option. So don't feel like once you decide on a major and you realize, this is not going well, that you are bound to that major. But yeah, I will tell you to still be intentional. Don't be wishy-washy about majors. Don't just think to switch to it. No, definitely think about it, ponder upon it, pray on it. But yeah, I do really wish you all the best as you decide on what major to pursue. I'm rooting for you guys. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out to me. I have put my email in the description box as well as my LinkedIn. So do feel free to reach out to me for whatever questions, content that you want me to go over and to share with you. I will be open to do so. Well, this is it for me. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I wish you all the best as you decide on your college major. Bye, guys.